Right now at 5, an update from the family of the 8-year-old Carl Junction native who died on a plane last week.
And after a hot weekend, the heat does continue, but it's going to be breezier out there today. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, animal shelters in the 4 states are struggling with overpopulation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday. We've started over again.
Yes, we have.
Another exciting work week ahead of us.
Did you have a good Father's Day yesterday, Chris?
I did. Amber and the kids did some great things for me yesterday. Made yesterday very special, very good. So it was a great Father's Day.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you other fathers out there had a great Father's Day as well. Hopefully you stayed inside a bit.
Right,
it was hot. We had our rummage sale on Saturday. Boy, by 10. I mean, I walked out the door at 5:30 in the morning to get stuff set up, and I'm like, it's already hot. And it got hotter after that. Yeah, and it's going to be that way again today. So even though the week is reset, the heat has not. Let's start with a quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Getting just a wee bit of daylight out there now, but you can also see the flags on City Hall blowing around. It's going to be a bit breezy today, which will be at least somewhat good. It'll help a little bit. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line looking good as well. So here's the thing. I didn't put it into the actual forecast because if you look, you'll see on the future track the chances are probably about 5%, but we could see a pop-up shower or brief thunderstorm as we head through the day. But as you saw in the future track there through the afternoon, there were only a couple of little pop-up showers. So honestly, the chances are probably even less than 5%. It is warm out there once again, mid-upper 70s. Take a look out to the west. Yates Center, Chanute, Parsons, Chautauqua, all at 77, as well as Stockton. So a very mild start to the day. As we go through the rest of today, it is going to be hot. Now, again, and this kind of surprised me, but I don't work at the National Weather Service. I'm not the people who make these calls. We didn't really have any heat advisories for our area through the weekend, nor do we have any today. Temperatures a wee bit better. We're going to go upper 80s and still some low 90s. A few clouds out there, and again, maybe a shower or two. Heat index values are still going to be up there, though, mid, possibly even upper 90s. So it's still going to be hot, still some dangerous heat to talk about, and our UV index is up there as well. We're going to break down the details on how long this heat's going to last and whether or not we get any relief this week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We have an update from the family of Sydney Weston, the 8-year-old Carl Junction native who died on a plane last week. The family has released a picture of Sydney and a statement. A GoFundMe has also been established to benefit the Weston family. The statement saying our hearts are shattered by the devastating loss of our precious daughter. We request privacy and respect as we cope with this profound grief. We found the words to honor Sydney the best we could right now. Well, early Friday evening, a crash at 26th and Country Club Drive across from the Twin Hills claims the life of the driver. Joplin police tell us the crash occurred as the vehicle went off the road at a high rate of speed and struck a large tree, coming to a stop. Despite life-saving efforts from bystanders and first responders, 41-year-old Sergio Marquin died later at Joplin Hospital. Marquin was a co-owner of the now closed El Taco Loco on West 7th in Joplin. Well, just after 10:45 p.m. a Saturday night, reports of a motorcycle and car collision at 11th and South Range Line alerted Joplin 911. Joplin Fire, Joplin Police, and Met's ambulance were dispatched. On scene, we observed a southbound custom motorcycle that had struck a passenger car that pulled into the path of the bike. Joplin police say that everyone involved refused medical care and southbound traffic was diverted for about 60 minutes. Well, just before 1 p.m. Sunday, reports of a structure fire at former XXX Midnight Video. 3100 block of South Prosperity Avenue alerted 911. Joplin and Dunaway Fire responded. Joplin Fire Station 7 is within sight of the building and reported smoke visible. Firefighters ran lines and made entry, finding no one inside or outside the vacant building. Fire was under control quickly, and Jasper County deputies arrived to begin an investigation of the suspicious fire. About 4:15 p.m., reports of a cattle hauler overturned at the K166 curve west of Baxter Springs, Kansas, alerted Cherokee County 911. Baxter Springs Police, Cherokee County deputies, Baxter Springs Fire, and AMB responded. On scene, westbound K66 tractor trailer overturned to the right off the roadway. One lane westbound was closed. The driver was not injured, and Baxter Springs Fire responded with their brush truck, cooling the cows down as the trailer was being cut open. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Animal shelters across the 4 states say they're overwhelmed with animals and resources are stretching thin. One shelter says it's the highest number of animals they've had since 2017. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how rising temperatures is not only going to make the situation worse.
We are over capacity. So our numbers at the moment are 664 animals, right? That is 404 cats and 260 dogs in our care.
Overwhelmed is how animal shelters like the Joplin Humane Society say they're feeling as the number of animals at the shelter reaches nearly double what staff say they are comfortable taking care of.
That definitely does put a strain on us. It puts a strain on the amount of resources we have to devote to any particular situation.
The SCK Humane Society in Pittsburgh reports that they are also at capacity. Both shelters say they are currently unable to do any animal intakes except in emergency situations. They say the heavy influx of animals is an issue not only felt in the 4 states, but across the nation.
We haven't seen data this bad since 2017, so that's pre-pandemic times. Now, we're a no-kill shelter, but if you look at the euthanasia data right now, those shelters haven't seen that type of data since 2015. We are in a really bad storm right now with animals.
The SCK Humane Society says they fear if they or other shelters cannot take the animals being turned in, it will eventually result in automatic euthanasia for some animals. The weight of that potential reality lies heavy on many shelter workers' minds.
It's heartbreaking. It's a very large emotional struggle for every single staff member at any shelter. We get to see those cases from start to finish, and we always want to intake as many animals as we can.
As temperatures begin to rise, shelters worry that another influx of animals is headed their way as Good Samaritans bring in strays to try to keep them hydrated and cool. And local shelters say they aren't in a place to be able to help all those who need it. They're asking that if it is not an emergency case, for the public to help the animal.
We really want the general public to try and find solutions outside of the shelter.
What we are trying to retrain the community on is that if you see an animal in need, you need to understand that it is your responsibility. If you are going to be picking up an animal, we'll of course try and assist you, but you cannot guarantee that 100%.
Both the Joplin and SCK Humane Societies are running adoption specials to help encourage people to visit. They ask anyone interested in adopting or fostering an animal to reach out or visit to learn more and fill out paperwork.
We are working towards fixing this issue, and it's really on the good people of Joplin and the surrounding communities to help us out and get us to that point.
Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Both the SCK and Joplin Humane Society say there are still ways you can help if you're unable to foster or adopt an animal. They say monetary donations and supplies such as food go a long way during these times. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. With the temperatures rising, we'll learn some tips to keep your furry friends safe. Plus, the Princess of Wales made her first public appearance since announcing her cancer diagnosis. And we have a hot and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Los Angeles County's first major wildfire of the year is ripping through thousands of acres in Southern California. As of this morning, the post fire is only 2% contained. CBS's Naomi Ruckham brings us scenes from the fire as a second blaze also rages through the northern part of the state.
A wind-fueled brush fire is raging through miles of mountainous terrain northwest of Los Angeles. The fast-moving post fire was first reported Sunday afternoon, exploding from just 2,000 acres at first, doubling in just a few hours to now more than 14,000 acres, nearly 24 square miles.
The wind has been a major factor, along with the dry fuels, along with the terrain. That's all the recipe for a very quickly moving flame.
More than 1,200 people were evacuated near Gorman, California this Father's Day. In nearby Lancaster, a smaller brush fire forced neighbors from their homes before they were allowed to return Sunday night.
It shifted and brought it more west right toward the property, and then as you can see behind us there, just a couple hundred yards away.
In Santa Clarita, an orange tint fills the sky as heavy smoke settles in, causing county leaders to issue an air quality alert.
It's been really smoky. You can smell it. Really bad, like it's right down the street.
Meantime, in Northern California, crews are battling a small wildfire near Lake Sonoma, now covering more than 1,000 acres. Though the area is mostly home to open ranches and large vineyards, some structures there have been destroyed. The Point Fire is 15% contained this morning as the state's firefighting resources spread across California. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Experts believe the smoke will continue to spread across the state, which may cause air quality issues for other nearby communities. High heat and strong winds are also causing difficulties for firefighters. And due to the gusty conditions, aircraft crews haven't been able to drop water or fire retardant from above. Well, still to come, a skincare company is recalling its sunscreen foundation due to possible mold contamination. Plus, we'll have another check of that forecast and when we might get some relief from the heat when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:17 on this Monday morning, getting a little daylight out there, and we've got some gusty winds, and this is one of those situations, so the breeze might feel somewhat decent, but it's going to be more like when you bake a pizza in the oven and you open the oven door and you get that hot breeze on you. That's kind of how today's going to be because it's still going to be very hot, very muggy. Of course, this is a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. As we take a look at the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, also looking pretty good. Roads fairly deserted for now. And the MoDOT camera down in Neosho at US 60, Missouri 59, looking good as well, getting a little daylight out there. They've changed its position. I kind of like that view. Let's take a look at the future tracks. This is what we're talking about. This is why I didn't really throw it in there because honestly, when we go with those chances of something happening, we're talking a less than 5% chance of a pop-up shower out there as we head through the afternoon. As you can see, we're otherwise going to be mostly clear and another hot one in store for us today, which also means another very mild overnight. As we head into our Tuesday, though, we have slightly better chances of a few pop-up showers and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms by the late evening east of I-49. They won't last long, but at least there's slightly better chances. Our Wednesday, we'll have that opportunity again at some point for some additional, maybe isolated pop-up showers and storms, and there's slightly better chances than what we're looking at today. As you saw, there's a few more of them out there. Thursday, though, also quite hot. In fact, our UV index tomorrow is at an 11, which is extreme. Today, it's at a 10, which is still very high. Bird time is 10 minutes or less for unprotected skin, so make sure you are taking precautions. So there is some good news, at least some brief good news on the heat risk potential. Now today, we have that moderate to major impact, so those heat index values, upper 90s, close to 100, maybe low 100s. However, we're going to start to see some minor improvements. Take a look as we go into Wednesday. Now we have a minor to moderate heat risk out there, and that holds on into Thursday. So that means it's still going to be hot, but not nearly as hot. Unfortunately, it is short-lived. As we head back into this upcoming weekend, the moderate to major will begin to return to the area. So again, some quick tips on what you need to do. Make sure you're taking early morning walks with your pets. Make sure they're otherwise inside. Water, Pedialyte pops, keep your kids hydrated. If you've got to be outside working, find shade, drink plenty of water, make sure you're staying hydrated, and of course, check on the elderly. Like kids, they are quite vulnerable in this kind of heat. Right now, though, again, it is warm for this time of day. 76 in Joplin, south-southeast breeze at 10. And again, temperatures around the area. We got some low 70s off to the south and east. Everywhere else, mid-upper 70s out there, even still relatively close to 80 across parts of southeastern Kansas. Through the morning, we will be sunny. We'll make it to about 86 degrees by 11 o'clock this morning. So it's going to heat up very quickly through the morning with ample sunshine out there. That's ahead of highs today. Again, upper 80s, low 90s. And we'll stay into the upper 80s, low 90s for the foreseeable future. But as you can see, Wednesday, a little more cloud cover, a little better rain chances, just a wee bit cooler. Heat index value is also a little bit lower. We'll heat back up again as we head into the weekend of next week, and we'll be once again dry. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a rare drug-resistant flu variant has been detected in at least 2 people in the U.S. According to a new CDC report, the variant has 2 concerning mutations in place that could lower the effectiveness of certain antiviral treatments, such as Tamiflu. The CDC says cases of the dual mutant flu variant were identified in 15 countries across 5 continents. However, experts say the threat is low as the dual mutant variant represents only 1% of the samples collected between May 2023 and February of this year. The CDC says lab testing suggests other antiviral treatments are still effective and a flu shot should also offer protection. Well, skincare company Suntegrity is recalling some of its sunscreen foundation due to possible mold contamination. The FDA says 9 lots of Impeccable Skin sunscreen foundation are being pulled from shelves. No adverse reactions have been reported, but consumers are advised to stop using the product and request a refund. Las Vegas-based Suntegrity says all of their products passed initial testing, but later product separation caused the contamination. Products containing mold can cause an allergic skin reaction or infection and give off a strong odor. Suntegrity says reactions typically clear up after cleansing and the skin and discontinuing use. The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge has turned 10 years old. You might remember all the videos from your social media feed, or maybe even participated in the trend. Massachusetts native Peter Freitz and 2 of his friends launched the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge in the summer of 2014. They posted a video of themselves getting buckets of ice water dumped over their heads to raise money for ALS research. Freitz lived with the progressive nervous system disease, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, for 7 years before he died in 2019 at the age of 34. But his legacy lives on. Since Fritz's first video, more than 17 million people participated in the challenge. The initiative raised nearly $300 million for ALS research. Well, dozens of nurses and loved ones gathered Thursday at a medical center in Fresno, California to honor one of their own. Patrice Sanders was a nurse at the Children's Hospital for more than 3 decades before her family had to make the tough decision to let her go and donate her organs. Vinci Ibarra shares how loved ones are remembering her dying wish.
It's really touching to see all the people that she's touched and to whom she meant so much.
A final walk to save lives. Several dozen people gathered at Community Regional Medical Center on Thursday to honor Patrice Sanders before she went into surgery to donate her organs. Sanders was a Valley Children's Hospital nurse for 36 years. Her sister Paige Sanders says Patrice called her and said she wasn't feeling well while she was at work. After several tests, it was determined Patrice had gastroenteritis. Paige says Patrice continued to not feel well. When they took her to the hospital again, doctors discovered she suffered a bilateral stroke. Over time, Patrice's health continued to decline.
We had a meeting with the surgeon who told us that her probable outcome was not going to be favorable, that she would have many disabilities.
Paige said her sister made her end-of-life wishes clear, and her family wanted to make sure they honored those wishes.
You know, she saw many children die at Valley Children's during her time there as an RN, and she always had a great respect for the children who donated their organs.
Jacqueline Manzanito with Donor Network West says there are over 22,000 patients just in California alone waiting for an organ transplant.
Giving the gift of life, it seems like it's aligned with what she did throughout her life. So it's a beautiful way to leave that legacy that she left both in life and after her passing.
Manzanito is grateful CRMC honors organ donors in such a touching way. As the family continues to celebrate the life Patrice led, they say they will remember one warm feeling she always gave so freely to others: love.
She loved well and was well loved, and is continuing to love others that she doesn't even know.
According to the Health Resources and Services Administration, more than 103,000 men, women, and children are on the national transplant waiting list. Approximately 17 people die each day while waiting for an organ transplant. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another hot and sunny day out there. Maybe a stray shower here or there, otherwise hot and dry. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, residents in Pineville stay up all night to raise money for the American Cancer Society.
And it's going to be another hot day out there, maybe a few clouds and possibly a shower. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, residents in Joplin celebrate Juneteenth with a little bit early. We'll take a look at all the festivities.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. Somebody has a case of the Mondays.
I do, just a little bit.
It's all right. I have a case of the Mondays every day, so I can't say anything, man. It's tough sometimes. You read these words so often and over on this black and white screen every day. It gets difficult sometimes. You start to lose your place.
Might need a little more sleep. It'll be better.
Maybe it's so hard to balance that. There's too much, too little. There's just never a good balance of sleep. Well, hopefully you did get a good amount of sleep, and hopefully you can stay indoors today, as it's going to be another hot one. Let's start with the look outside from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line in Joplin. Get a little more daylight out there. Skies are clear at this point. There may be a stray cloud or two, but otherwise they'll remain mostly clear. So here's the future track pausing at noon. And this is why I didn't put it out there, because honestly, I think the chance of seeing any rain at all today is less than 5%. But we could see a stray shower or two. Say there's one in Newton County possibly by this afternoon. Otherwise, the rest of us, 99% of us, will be dry. It's going to be hot once again. Heat index values upper 90s, maybe 100, maybe a little over 100. It's already pretty warm out there, unless you're off in the southeast. Cassville's the cool spot. It's 70. Otherwise, it's mid-upper 70s as we get the day started. That's ahead of highs today, upper 80s, low 90s. Again, maybe a stray cloud or two out there. Now, one benefit, it won't be a cool breeze, but it'll be a breeze. South winds will be gusting upwards of about 25 miles an hour today. And again, those heat index values quite high into the upper 90s, maybe some low 100s. There's some good news. We'll get a little relief from the heat. It'll be brief, but it'll be there. We'll talk about that and some other rain chances out there in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Christine's Vineyard hosted a Father's Day free fishing event yesterday. The event allowed area families to bond over fishing. The event also included cornhole and a foam axe throwing set.
Just get outside. Nowadays I feel like a lot of people are, inside. I know it's hot, but it seems like when you get outside, you kind of forget about the weather and end up having a pretty good time. And out here, they got drinks and a pond and everything else, so it's kind of the best of everything out here.
Families were able to fish yesterday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Well, many times people find themselves pulling an all-nighter, but Pineville residents pulled an all-nighter to take the fight to cancer with a Relay for Life. The overnight event included a silent auction, live music, raffles, and more. All funds from the event went to the American Cancer Society. Organizers say those funds will then be allocated to those in need.
It pays for housing, so if your child needs to go and have radiation and you are 3 or 4 hours away from the facility, it pays for your housing to stay at there, and it also pays for the gasoline. So they have a shuttle that takes you from the hospital back to your facility or your house for the time being, back to the hospital and back and forth for the extended time of your treatment.
This is the first Relay for Life event held in Pineville in 20 years. Well, June 19th marks the Juneteenth holiday, but Joplin residents decided to celebrate a bit early. The celebration Saturday included a 5K run, art classes, live bands, and a kids zone, and much more. The event took place at the future site of Hope Park.
I want the community to know that the whole gist of this is for Hope Park. And Hope Park is the location that we are in now, and that is the future of we're having fundraisers and stuff to get that going. So all that we're doing, all the funds we collect, everything is going towards getting that park up and running.
Juneteenth marks the freeing of the last slaves in the United States. Some Southwest Missouri area organizations all gathered at Wildcat Park Saturday to teach kids and parents about water safety. Kids learned a variety of things like boat safety and some safety around the water. Every child received a free life jacket at the event.
That water safety is important at all ages, and so the earlier that we start water safety, the better that people will understand it as they get older. So it's just a great thing for kids to learn.
Over 50 area kids attended the event. Partly cloudy skies aren't the only thing you saw all over Pittsburgh Saturday. The second annual Kite Festival was held Saturday. Not only could community members go and see some of the bigger kites, but it also allowed for cultural exchange.
This is our Indian culture. Like we used to welcome the spring with the Kite Festival. So I want to share the culture with the American people because we have lots of Indian also. So we are celebrating together and make a one community.
Every attendee was provided with a free kite. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Unsafe levels of bacteria are found in the Seine River less than 2 months before the Paris Olympics are set to begin. Plus, Israel's army says it will pause daytime fighting to help the flow of aid for desperate Palestinians. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, all eyes were on Buckingham Palace and the annual Trooping of the Colours event Saturday morning. That's where the Princess of Wales made her first public appearance since announcing her cancer diagnosis earlier this year. Stephanie Bennett has the story.
Music, majesty, and military precision, the Trooping of the Colour is an annual tradition, but perhaps this year more meaningful than those in the past, as both the King and Princess were in attendance despite their cancer battles. The event marks the sovereign's official birthday, although King Charles III's actual birthday is in November. Last year, the king rode on horseback, this time a little reined back as he rode in a carriage with his wife, Queen Camilla. Prince William rode on horseback for the procession as well, and Princess Kate rode in a carriage behind the king with their 3 children. It came down to the wire on whether she was going to attend after missing last week's Colonel's Review, which is a dress rehearsal essentially for the big day. The 42-year-old princess looking glamorous as always in white and wearing wearing the Irish Guard's regimental brooch, as she is the regiment's colonel. Now, the princess gave us an update on her health Friday night, saying she is making good progress, but as millions know, with chemotherapy, there are good days and bad days. She also gave us some insight into her personal life, talking about engaging with her children's school life, starting to do a little bit more work from home, and looking forward to joining a few public engagements over the summer.
It's very exciting to know that Kate's going to come out and be here and be with the family and be a part of this really important day, and we were really excited to see that. But also just to be a part of this big celebration in a country that we have only been to a couple times.
The princess admits that she is not out of the woods just yet. Her message is and has always been that she wants her privacy while she recovers with her family.
Israel's army says it will pause daytime fighting along a route in southern Gaza to help the flow of aid for desperate Palestinians. This comes after 8 Israeli soldiers were killed in Gaza. Troy Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
Israel's military suffering a deadly attack this weekend. 8 soldiers were killed in Rafah in what was the deadliest attack on Israeli forces in months.
Despite the heavy and staggering cost, we must stick to the goals of the war.
An Israeli spokesperson revealing the soldiers were traveling in an armored personnel carrier when an explosion took place, likely from buried devices or an anti-tank missile. A funeral for some of the soldiers taking place Sunday.
If only you had more time, the things that you have done would have been endless.
The attack reinforcing Israel's goal to overtake Hamas's positions in Rafah, potentially impacting ceasefire negotiations.
It is clear to us that we need to defeat the Rafah brigade. I think that this task is progressing in a determined, professional manner.
Despite the blow, Israel's military did announce Sunday it would pause some fighting during daytime hours to allow for humanitarian aid deliveries. The limited tactical pause only applies to a small part of southern Gaza and falls short of the potential ceasefire deal on the table.
The idea behind this pause is to create a safe corridor, an 11-hour window where trucks can move safely to the crossing, pick up supplies, and move back into Gaza to deliver them.
The IDF said the pause would be indefinite, which drew criticism from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is about to be and now is 5:46, not 4:46. Let's not go back in time. On this Monday morning, this is a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Skies are clear. The winds are a bit gusty, which will help a little bit, but more so in that way of when you bake the pizza, open the oven. We discussed this earlier. It's going to be a warm breeze, but at least it's a breeze. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also looking pretty good so far this morning. And staying down in Neosho from the MoDOT camera there, it's US 60, Missouri 59. We got a pretty decent start to the day. It is a warm start to the day. Our rain chances today, honestly, are about less than 5%. But as you can see on the future track, it is hinting at the possibility of a stray shower or two out there. Otherwise, we are mostly clear. We are hot once again, and heat index values today, upper 90s, maybe some low 100s out there. And of course, as we're hot during the day, it means a very mild overnight for us as well. We'll see a few more clouds tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, and we've got a slightly better opportunity for a stray shower or thunderstorm. And then east of I-49 by tomorrow evening, could see a couple of slightly more organized showers or storms. No severe weather is expected from any of this, but at least some of us might get a little bit of rain. As we go into our Wednesday, once again, slightly better chances of a couple of thunderstorms, maybe a couple of showers out there, and not nearly as hot. Thanks to some of the extra cloud cover and the extra rain chances out there, we'll see that opportunity to get a break from the heat. It will be brief, but at least it will be there. But between now and then, it is going to remain quite hot. Our UV index for today is at a 10, which is very high. Tomorrow's forecast UV index is an 11, which is extreme. So we're talking still quite dangerous outside. So you want to make sure that you are taking precautions, limiting your time outdoors, protecting your skin if you've got to be out there. The heat risk potential map again for today is that still that moderate to major across the area. So again, further west, higher heat index values. This is where the better opportunity for some heat index values, maybe 100 to 105 will be. Everyone else, we're still talking upper 90s out there. However, as we head into the middle of the week, as you can see, we get into that minor to moderate for at least a couple of days out there. So Wednesday into Thursday, slightly better heat index values. However, as we head into the weekend, by Saturday, moderate to major taking over once again out there. That heat will return. So again, some quick safety tips for the heat. You want to make sure, first off, with your pets that you're doing the early morning walks, make sure they're indoors. Otherwise, it is just too hot. I know a lot of them, they like to sit outside. They like to be outside, but it is a little too hot for them to do that. Make sure your kids are hydrated. Water, Pedialyte Pops, an excellent option there. And of course, if you yourself have to be outside, again, I know there's professions you've got to work outside. You don't have a choice. Make sure you're finding shade, taking breaks, and staying hydrated as well. And of course, like kids, elderly, quite vulnerable for this kind of heat. So make sure you're checking in on them as well. Clear skies from our camera 7th and Rangeline, 76 in Joplin. South-southeast breeze at about 10 miles an hour. And we're going to get those gusts today out of the south, upwards of 25. Temperatures, again, off to the south and east, a little cooler, low mid-70s. But as you head further north and west, temperatures really warm up for this time of day, mid-upper 70s. We're going to be sunny through the morning, and we're going to go about the mid-80s, maybe even some upper 80s by 11 o'clock this morning, and that is ahead of highs today into the upper 80s, low 90s out there. And again, maybe a stray cloud or two and maybe an isolated shower here or there. As we head into the evening hours, we'll still be mostly clear through the evening and into the overnight. Another mild one out there, falling back into the low to mid-70s, still in the low 80s as late as 10 o'clock tonight. The heat continues. Again, Wednesday we get a little break. We'll be in the upper 80s. Humidity levels will be a bit lower. Heat index values will be a bit lower. Got those stray thunderstorm chances tomorrow through Thursday. Then the sunshine returns, and so does the heat as we head into the upcoming weekend. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, a little girl gets props from Barbie, the Met, and more after using the famous fashion dolls to craft a super unique school science project pageant gone viral. Jeremy Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
A 9-year-old Colorado student's out-of-this-world science project has gone viral, and it's easy to see why. Little Alice Hayes was tasked with creating a solar system display. She decided to put a functional and fashionable spin on it by using Barbie dolls to represent the sun and all 9 planets, and handcrafting outfits for each that highlighted unique planetary features, like Mars' distinct crimson color, Saturn's signature rings, and Jupiter's famous red spot. Alice's mom says her daughter crafted the project almost completely on her own, and the internet is eating it up with over 1.4 million views and counting for a TikTok vid of the display. What's even more amazing is who is watching. Alice got rave reviews from fashion-centric fans like American Eagle and the Met, glowing marks from the Girl Scouts of America, and even a shout-out from the mothership herself, Barbie. One thing is clear, Alice could have a bright future in astronomy, fashion, or anything else she puts her crafty and creative mind to. And from a whole lot of pretty planets to a whole big to-do over a hole. This is Minnie, an Omaha, Nebraska St. Bernard. This was Minnie, in a whole heap of trouble, so to speak, when she fell into an excavation project in her owner's backyard and became stuck up to her neck and paws. Omaha firefighters responded and executed an excavation of their own, carefully digging around the pinned pooch while assisting with her breathing. Thankfully, Minnie was eventually freed and evaluated. She's okay and probably a little wiser and warier of big bad backyard holes. Oh, and when asked what the ordeal was like, she said simply, rough. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We'll be right back. Penguins found in bad shape on the coast of Argentina are returned to the wild. In the past few months, 14 Magellanic penguins have been found on the Argentine coast. Workers at the Marine Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation Center say that the penguins were found in poor condition, suffering from dehydration, malnourishment, and anemia. Veterinarians nursed the penguins back to health, ensuring they reached an adequate weight before returning them back to the wild on Friday. Local media in the area reports that these are young penguins that have been unable to find fish to feed on during their migration journey, leading to these specific health problems. Well, these 3 new summer soda flavors just might Mountain Dew it for you. Mountain Dew revealed its new line of red, white, and blue drinks just in time for upcoming 4th of July celebrations. The patriotic new flavors include Liberty Chill, Freedom Fusion, and Star Spangled Splash. To celebrate the release of the new flavors, the soda company created the Mountain Dew Cooler Quest. Starting on June 20th, fans can join the hunt to find one of the company's 50 insulated backpack coolers that are hidden around the country and filled with the new flavors, plus a $250 gift card.
Certainly a fun way to quench your thirst with all the heat that we're going to be experiencing because, boy, as of last week, summer's really kind of set into the area with these warm temperatures, and it's going to be another hot one today. Sunny skies through the morning, mid-80s, maybe even some upper 80s by 11 o'clock. Highs are going to cap out about the upper 80s and low 90s. However, heat index values are going to be upper 90s, maybe even some low 100s, especially into southeastern Kansas. Mostly clear skies and maybe an isolated shower. We're looking at really less than 5% chance of rain today. And winds will be gusting out of the south. They'll continue like that for the next couple of days, upwards of 25, possibly 30 miles an hour. Clear skies, still quite hot through the evening, 82 by 10 o'clock tonight. Overnight lows back into the low 70s. And as we look ahead, we have slightly better chances of some isolated pop-up thunderstorms Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. No severe weather expected at this point, but thanks to the cloud cover and rain, we'll be a little cooler on Wednesday into the upper 80s, but it doesn't last long. The heat returns by the weekend. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.